Warning. The car in your driveway might be a ticking time bomb. These 15 vehicles are still being sold despite failing every major safety test. You won't believe what's at number 1. Starting off our list at number 15 is the 2023 Ford Expedition, one of America's most popular full-size SUVs, trusted by millions of families. But recent crash tests reveal a nightmare Ford would rather you didn't know. In a 40-mile-per-hour small overlap crash test, the Expedition's structure completely failed. Both A-pillars detached with over 50 centimeters of intrusion on each side. It's shocking, even more terrifying. The driver dummy slipped off the airbag, leaving its head exposed to hard, intruding metal, a potential death blow. The dummy also showed a high risk of right leg injury and moderate risk to the left. Real-world survival space was virtually gone. At number 14 on our list is the 2023 Chevrolet Equinox, the worst crash test performer in its class. Chevrolet still markets it as a family-friendly SUV, selling it to unsuspecting families every day. In the updated moderate overlap front crash test by the IIHS, it earned a devastating poor rating. The real nightmare is in the rear seat. The rear dummy recorded catastrophic injury values: head injury at 1,393, nearly double the 700 safety threshold. Neck tension at 4.3 kilonewtons, almost twice the 2.4 limit, and chest forces well beyond safe levels. Although dummy movement was controlled, all crash energy was funneled into the passenger's body, risking severe injury. If you're planning on using the back seat, it's recommended you pass on this Chevy. Next, at number 13 on our list, is the 2019 Toyota RAV4, one of America's best-selling SUVs, trusted by millions of families, but a Swedish moose test revealed a terrifying flaw that Toyota quietly tried to fix. At just 42 miles per hour, the RAV4's electronic stability control failed to react in time. The result, the SUV tipped up onto two wheels. Technicians called it dangerous, and this wasn't driver error. Test drivers who knew exactly what was coming still couldn't keep it under control. The rear end slid out aggressively and wheels lifted off the ground. That's serious rollover territory. Toyota responded fast, tweaking the software to brake harder and faster. The updated version passed at 45 miles per hour. At number 12 is the 2018 BMW X1. It's a luxury SUV with all the prestige of German engineering, but honestly, when it comes to pedestrian safety, it's a complete failure. In IIHS tests of BMW's daytime pedestrian detection, the results were, just horrifying. In 3 key scenarios, the system failed entirely. The X1 slammed into crash test dummies, with little or no braking at all. And here's the worst part. The system's maximum operating speed is just 37.5 miles per hour. Yet, in a test at 37 miles per hour, the X1 didn't brake at all during a high-speed adult crossing simulation. Zero slowdown. At number 11 is the 2018 Ford Escape, America's second best-selling SUV behind the F-150. But, crash tests reveal it's also one of the most dangerous vehicles on the road. In IIHS testing, it earned the worst rating possible. Poor for passenger-side crash protection. At just 40 miles per hour, the structure collapsed. The door frame crushed inward by 10 inches at the upper hinge pillar. Devastating. Even worse, the side curtain airbag didn't deploy at all. That means zero head protection. Passengers would slam into the door or, honestly, even trees outside. At number 10 is the 2019 Toyota Tundra, America's so-called most reliable full-size pickup. But, crash tests reveal a deadly secret Toyota hopes you never hear. In the 40 miles per hour small overlap frontal crash, the Tundra didn't just fail, it became a death trap. The dummy showed catastrophic intrusion and almost no survival space. With leg and foot injury risks so high, amputation is likely. Both driver and passenger sides earned the dreaded poor rating. At number 9 is the 2016 Toyota Hilux, which, is famous for surviving Top Gear's torture tests, but it's a whole different story when it comes to emergency handling. During Sweden's Moose test at just 37 miles per hour, the Hilux nearly tipped over. The inside wheels actually lifted off the ground, signaling a pretty serious rollover risk. Test driver Ruben Burrison even called it dangerous for any buyer, and this wasn't just a one-time fluke. Repeated tests showed the same problem. The tires gripped too well, the center of gravity leaned too far, and without an anti-rollover system, the Hilux wobbled on the edge of disaster. At number 8 is the 2004 Mitsubishi Galant, This was Mitsubishi's largest sedan, built on their so-called Project America platform, but, honestly, crash tests exposed it as a serious danger. In IIHS side impact tests, a 3,300-pound barrier slammed the driver's side at 31 miles per hour, and the driver's head hit the barrier hard enough to actually leave a dent. That's, well, instant brain trauma. At number 7 is the 2014 Mazda CX-9, which was marketed as a premium family SUV, but crash tests revealed a deadly flaw hidden beneath all those safety claims. During the IIHS driver-side small overlap crash test, the results were honestly shocking. The crash test dummy barely made contact with the airbag, instead slamming directly into the window frame. Even worse, the steering column and airbag actually moved away from the dummy during the collision, leaving the driver virtually unprotected. The side airbag never deployed, meaning zero protection for the dummy's head and torso. The dummy's legs were crushed between the seat and lower dashboard, simulating injuries severe enough to require amputation in real crashes. So, at number 6 is the 2014 Mitsubishi Mirage, which was marketed as an affordable family sedan with, great fuel economy. But, crash tests show it's actually one of America's most dangerous cars. In IIHS testing, the Mirage had catastrophic intrusion, up to 10.2 inches crushing the lower passenger area and 7.5 inches in the upper compartment. That's nearly a foot of metal pushing into the left leg, risking, amputation. Worse still, the seatbelt failed to keep the dummy restrained, letting it move dangerously far forward, and, even more shocking, the dummy's head slid completely off the airbag, leaving it exposed to deadly impact with metal. Coming in at number 5 is the 2013 Honda Fit, which was marketed as a practical, fuel-efficient option for young drivers and budget-conscious families. But, crash tests revealed a terrifying truth that Honda probably hoped to keep quiet. In the IIHS small overlap front crash test at 40 miles per hour, the Fit's passenger compartment structure just completely folded. The driver's side took the worst hit, with major deformation around the A-pillar and door frame. The scariest part: the crash test dummy's head slid completely off the frontal airbag, smashing into the instrument panel with bone-crushing force, instant brain trauma in a real crash. At number 4 is the 2006 to 2011 Hyundai Accent, an affordable compact hiding a deadly secret. It's actually safer to sit in the back than behind the wheel. In IIHS side impact tests, the Accent got a shocking poor rating, even though it had front and rear curtain airbags and front torso airbags. The rear passenger space scored good, but the driver faced life-threatening risk. During side impacts, the door and surrounding structure crushed so far inward that the driver's torso, legs, and pelvis risked severe injury, or even amputation. Safety features that were supposed to protect ended up failing, because honestly, the whole cabin structure just gave way. At number 3 is the 2018 Ford Explorer, one of America's top-selling SUVs, with 500,000 sold just last year alone. But here's the shocking truth: the 2018 Explorer actually failed the latest Insurance Institute for Highway Safety crash test in a major way. It received a devastating poor rating in the small overlap front crash test. At 40 miles per hour, the passenger side collapsed more than a foot inward, severely crushing the survival space. Crash test dummies recorded forces that were, consistent with broken bones and hip dislocations. This isn't the first time Fords had safety issues with the Explorer. The 1991 model was already infamous for rollover risks due to design flaws. Taking second place is the 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee, long trusted by American families, but the 2018 model's crash tests reveal a terrifying truth Jeep definitely doesn't want you to know. The IIHS gave it a poor rating for small overlap front crash protection. On the passenger side, the structure failed completely. The dummy's head actually pushed right through the airbag, smashing into the dashboard with bone-crushing force. Worse yet, the side curtain airbag didn't deploy at all, leaving passengers totally exposed. The door even flew open during impact, creating a huge risk of passengers being ejected. Despite these deadly flaws in the 2018 models, Jeep keeps selling them, claiming they meet federal safety standards. Taking the infamous first place is the 10th generation 2021 Ford F-150, America's best-selling truck, but with a deadly secret. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety gave the extended cab a devastating poor rating. In crash tests at just 40 miles per hour, the airbag deployed too late. The steering wheel moved dangerously upward, and the driver's seat shifted so much that the dummy's head was pinned between the steering wheel and headrest. That's basically a near-certain death sentence in a real crash. But the problems didn't stop there. These F-150s also suffered from leaky exhaust manifolds, broken leaf spring shackles, and honestly, countless recalls that caused headaches for owners. Later on, Ford did fix many of these issues and earned much better good crash ratings. Still, millions of these dangerous trucks are out on the road today, marketed as reliable.